Hello there everyone, Ragewood here with an Etheria restart video. So, the end of the 10-day period is here. We are coming into the final hours of the last closed beta test for Etheria restart, and I thought I'd give an overview on where I got to, some struggles that I've had, and yeah, some things that I would like to see changed moving forward. So without further ado, let's get into it. So before we start, this is not going to be a short one. We're going to go over my entire account as I sort of prefaced earlier. So it's probably going to be about half an hour, I guess, at this stage. So put your 2x speed on, or if you're just not interested in watching something for half an hour, that's fine. Also not offended. But yeah, let's jump in. So firstly, I'm in a little box, trying a new sort of setup. If I can get streams to work moving forward, I will keep them in this sort of format. So hopefully it goes down well with you lot. If you want the box or camera me to be a little bit bigger, then just let me know. So the accounts at the end of 10 days, I got to level 53. Now we're not far off level 54. I've used all my stamina every day. I've always used hydro crystals to refill every day as well. I've not used them for summons, but yeah, definitely for stamina refills. I think moving forward at this stage, I would probably start saving the hydro crystals for things rather than using the stamina, because I've unlocked everything now. So that's probably one thing I would stop doing at this point, is using hydro crystals for stamina refills. If we take a look at the Hyperlink Charter, I got to, what was it, the very last one on this one here. I can't quite clear Ember Trek Area 30. It is a really hard stage. I know a lot. I think there was 2 people that have done it last time I looked, so credit to them because it is brutal. That's where I got on that one. The Animus Fate 3, I haven't leveled up any. I haven't leveled up an SR's all skills to max. I've done a couple with a couple, but not all 3 on any of them. So that's where I got to, but I imagine it wouldn't be too hard to do these last 2 either. Although you can see this last one to get to level 48, so I imagine this one will be like level 50. So yeah, we could probably clear a few of the next lot. Module modification, I haven't beat Aurora Hell 10 times yet. Since having this mission, I have cleared Aurora Hell 2, but I cannot auto farm it, which is why I've not been doing this. And I don't have 5 Animuses equipped with level 15 mythic modules. Mythic modules cost a buttload to level up. The economy in here is a bit out of whack, and we'll come to that later. So I've not done that. And I wasn't going to just level up TAT for the sake of doing this one. So we got to there. Shell tuning. I got to defeating Sharon on Inferno difficulty once. Again, can't quite do that. But we've made some really good progress here. We've only got a couple left there. And the arena trials are actually very easy to do. So that's where we got to with those. So we'll look at the arena now. So in Etheria, I did get to Master Rank 3. I bet I've been beaten up again. Yeah. So the last 3 hours, I won 2, lost 1. So yeah, it's very... This... Etheria very much is speed is king. Okay, you can see how my fights have been going. What I dislike about this is if you find someone you can beat, you can just sort of hunt them down. Now, where is it? Like, Archines was probably just re-rolling to beat me here. Same with Godzilla, he was doing the same. So I'd like it that if you get beat, people can't just come back and smack you over. Same with Sempool. But I guess that comes part and parcel with the game. But in the EU, providing I don't drop any more, I will finish 17th on 3083. I did try my absolute hardest to push to get the master rank, but I could not quite do it today. Now in Summit Arena, or Real Time Arena, this was tough. There was a lot of movement going on the final end of today. But I managed to finish 13th, which I'm really happy with. I was working this afternoon towards the end of the close, so I just pushed as far as I could to get to an area that I thought might be safe, and then just hoped for the best. A very good friend of mine unfortunately got knocked out at the end here, never, just missing a top 16 spot, but we do know that it's not the only opportunity to get into the tournament or the EWS, whatever it is. They'll do it server-wide in the full launch, whereas this was everyone. So yeah, some pretty big names. And I've noticed a meta shift. So in a lot of these games, speed is king. That is true, and it will remain true for the start of the launch as well. But as soon as Bulwark gear became unlocked, you started to see some sort of sustain bruisery comps using the Bulwark to, get rid of or avoid the freeze from Kraken, the knockbacks from Marvels, that kind of thing. And then once the burst had been done and you hadn't been controlled, you could just take your turns from there. Now, Keka won the Timaeus Cup, which I'm still watching. I haven't quite finished that yet, but, he showed it in there. You're seeing a lot of double supports just slowly whittling them down. Now, whether we'll see that in launch, I reckon we will, but probably not to begin with. You'll probably see Speed is King until Bulwark comes out, which is level whenever Aurora unlocks, which I think is around 30-ish. So, yeah, Heinrich being a key player to help stop that. But yeah, I was really happy with where I finished here. And the Fearless Arena is just something that only opens on weekends. But yeah, that was my arena. And I suppose we'll look at my Animus now. Looking at the Animuses, and I guess we'll take a look at the shells. We'll see I have Messiah. I did get rather lucky. I pulled a lot of really good heroes on this. And honestly, all of my light and dark units, bar one, came from the permanent summons. It's actually bonkers, really. I didn't get a single one from the Apex summons at all. They all came from the permanent summons, which is great for free-to-play players. Apex summons are really hard to get hold of, even if you try to whale out. There's not that many in the markets. So it's nice to see that you're able to get them there. I did only get one copy of Messiah, but this is him. Skill-wise, I did max out his skill 3 to get the 70% defense ignore. This is his gear. This is sort of what he's looking at. And yeah, the shell, I do have a leveled up Revelation. Now, improvements here, we could get a better overclocking. Shadow Dash isn't ideal for him here. You'd rather have the crit rate, crit damage. I think it's crit rate or crit damage you can get here. Yeah, both. And obviously this last one isn't fantastic either, but we did get it to level 40, and it is giving us that 51 speed. So I wasn't really going to reconfigure that. I didn't think there was any point. And this shell, as you've probably read whilst I'm chatting, does true max damage. So it helps him in, well, I think it was sort of HP percent damage, something like that. It does help him in PvE content, not just PvE. Tiamat. Now, this is the character that most people are going to have in their targeted summons. It is very much the no-brain play for a lot of players, or casual players at least. The issue is she's not fantastic anywhere. She's not terrible either. She's a jack of all trades, master of none. She provides a bit of control with taunt. She has some shielding and some heal over time. So she does a little bit of damage, but she's not the best everywhere. Now, will I pick her? I don't know. I did this time round, and I've enjoyed playing with her, and she, this whole bruiser meta that we've seen slowly develop towards the end here, she's insane in, but she's not really in any of my PvE teams anymore. She's not in my Terramaton, she's not in my Doki, she's not in any of my Grim Pursuits. So, yeah, a jury's still out for me. She is a fantastic player, and I would probably direct everyone to pick her if you're casually. But, there are powerhouses like Rosa who excel late game who you could also pick. But yeah, this is Tia. Modules I've got in Wellspring, 8-piece, Bramble for the counter-attack possibility, and Time Weave just for a bit of accuracy. The shell, again, very good shell here. Lighthouse that I've been farming really late last night and today for the push today. Bramble, Time Weave, again, giving me 17 plus 35, 52 speed here. I did max roll the Animus HP, and she takes less damage when she doesn't take a turn. So this is going to be a great sort of setup in Arena when she's going to be placing her shield. She'll gain survivability. And if she's controlled as well, she's controlled, she can't do anything. So it will reduce the damage she takes, helping her survive longer to go into that dragon form. So yeah, really happy with my Tiamat build here. Lily, she was my second fastest person here with 260 speed, and that's really what she's here for. She is a support unit. Now, what a lot of people don't realise, and something I didn't notice until late, is the prowess gives you 15 speed in the skill 1. Now, on Leanne, it gives you in the skill 3, so I started just levelling up this skill 3 before I realised this. So definitely one thing I've learned that you lot should take away is, especially if you're focusing on PvP, like Lily is great in a lot of areas. I do use her in some of my dungeon teams, but she is predominantly a PvP menace. So do keep that in mind if you're thinking of using someone for PvP. Just double check where you're going to get this easy speed from here. So yep, I ended up switching to that. Yes, I have spent money in this beta, by the way, guys. You know, I think that's with a given, considering I've got a few skills maxed out or close to. The shell, Gigabyte, I think is an incredible shell for this cut-in. And again, especially if you get the speed rolls here, I didn't get the highest, 20 is the highest here, so only 51. But especially the last few days when I was trying to push, rather like upgrading modules, especially like mythic and outstanding pieces, it is so expensive. And part of that, I think, is probably because, you know, the game doesn't want us to be pushing this far this early on in 10 days. So you're not supposed to have max mythic modules or outstanding modules everywhere. But I do think the Etheria coin is an issue. Same with training data, and I'll explain it literally in a second, actually. I'll give you an example. So I couldn't max out the gear everywhere, so it's actually really hard to experiment to try and get these speed substat rolls. I've got a couple of 5s, a 6 here. These rolled HP percentage, so, you know, none of them are particularly bonkers. 8 there. And, it, you know, I got all these other little pieces that I've been farming, but I can't level them up to like 3 because it's like, let's take this time with piece, for example. 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. 3 levels, okay? So that's like 50k. If I go to recycle that level 4 time with piece, where was it? Let's go to the helmets quickly. I'm getting 23 back. Like, it's half, and I get it, but you just can't experiment with builds, and that's the one thing I hate. With that in mind, the easiest way to get speed is your skill ups and your shells, I believe. Especially these mythic shells, they are expensive to level up as well. But if you do get, you know, the rolls here and the rolls here, you got 35 just off rip by reaching 40, maxing it out. So definitely something I would recommend. Now, if I go to the Empower, this is what another thing that I think resources are out of whack. Training data. It's 30k to re-roll, but actually we're not bothered about re-rolling per se here. But just an example, these should be available in equal measure. Okay, I have close to 1,500 reconfig chips and next to no training data. Either give us more training data or make it so we have to use these when you're leveling as well. You know, not just 3 copies have, you know, this 3 copies and some reconfig chips, because the balance is just not there. So that's the one thing I would change. Either reduce the training data costs for leveling up, or just make us use the config chips somewhere else. I've got loads of them just from recycling shells, and yeah, they're just not doing anything. So if I go to, let's see, Empower, this little alicorn that I had at the end here, it's, yeah, again, it's like 24k for a level. We're only just over halfway to maxing this shell. And each one goes up, and it's like 100k plus to make it level 3, and then same again. Now, again, it is a mythic shell, and should we be at that point yet? I don't know. But, in my opinion, a bit out of whack there. So I hope that we see that changed before launch. Rosa, I just leveled up because I needed a second nuker. Not particularly fast. She gives herself 30% crit rate, so 75%. So again, far from an ideal build here. With the white fangs, we did get 18 here as well, which is very nice. Blade of Oddity, which is also very nice. HP percentage, not bothered about, but yeah, that is that. Marvel, my god, he is the MVP, I think, of this beta. He allowed opened so many doors, both for PvP and PvE. He was my fastest champ at 271 speed. The fastest I've seen is 288, and it belonged to a guy named Q1619. I haven't seen anyone faster yet, but there probably was, and that's the scary thing, okay? But he makes life so much easier with this knockback speed down and resistance down. He's got it on his CS skill 1 as well, and his silence too. Like, he is absolutely nutty. I did max out his skill 1 and his skill 3. Skill 2 he did not. And the Jackal Guard. This is my fastest shell, I believe, and with 19 there, 35 that it gives us as well. Not ideal stats down here, but I was just working with what I had. But it gives him the increased speed as well by 30%, and it pushes his turn meter. This was great. And what I noticed as well with Lily is her cooldown reduction also works on the shells. It also reduces the cooldown there as well, so it's just nutty if you're using it on things like this. But Jackal Guard is a better black flag, recently introduced in this beta, I believe. And yet he is a great hero. I do expect him to get nerfed, I hate to say it. But everyone that's had a 100% chance previously has been knocked down to like 75 or 80%, I think. Or had some conditions in there like Kraken. So I do expect this to change before launch. I hope it doesn't. I really do hope it doesn't. But there we go. Kloss, so yeah, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stars. 7 6 stars if you include Sanya, which you would include, obviously. So yeah, a decent roster. Then Kloss, just some my defense down. I didn't actually have an attack down leveled at any point. So her hack in buff, decreasing the damage dealt by them, was sort of my pseudo attack down. Freya, first feature banner, great support hero helping you push. Again, just a black flag shell here, a blizzard here. Kraken, I also had in a gigabyte with the 19 speed, triple rolls there, and 239. So it went for speed. It went Marvel, Lily, Freya, and Kraken. I think are on the same. No, 238, 239. So that's kind of the speeds I was rocking at. Sanya, incredible healer. Do not sleep on her. She has a revive. She passively heals as well. So if you're controlled, you'll still get some of that healing out. And until you get Linglo, she is incredible. Speaking of Linglo, I didn't really level her or invest into her too much because I'd only just got her towards the end here. And then, yeah, Heinrich, 6 star, 8 6 stars, Doki Doki leveled, but she doesn't have any gear on her really, just sort of cobble together. And Beyondtin, which I worked on early, because in my head I wanted to get this whole, she'll use crit damage up, Messiah will nuke, she'll boost him again, and we'll just go from there. The problem is I could not figure out how to get this targeted. Beyondtin makes one allied Animus immediately start their turn, reduces the Animus cooldowns. But I cannot figure out the AI targeting behind it, so I had to manual everything, so I ended up dropping her. So she's probably someone I wouldn't invest in early on. I did get the speed here as well, thinking I was going to use her in PvP. I ended up not doing it, so that is one thing I've learned. She is an incredible hero, but I probably wouldn't invest in her this early. And then everyone else I just didn't touch really from down here, but if we go to the archive, you will see that I pulled basically an awful lot of them. I did manage to get all the Light and Dark units. Stunning, I got multiple copies off, which is mad, but I didn't use her in the end. So, you know, I never got Rahu, never got Lilith, never got Selintz, never got Born or Jadar or Mia, but I did get everyone else. And the summons you get, you know, if you look at Vulcan as a free-to-play player, I think you get like over 600 summons, I think, in the stream they calculated earlier. So you do get plenty, which is really good. Shell Archives, I got at least one of everything, but I was recycling quite a lot at the end to level what we had. So this is what we finished with. Come launch, I probably would keep a lot more different ones. Like I'd keep more Ambers and more Law of Silences, but I wasn't using them. I really wanted to power up these to get the, you know, try and get the speed rolls, but also just the 30 that they add. So yeah, that was sort of the account and the heroes that I was rocking towards the end. Moving on to the PvE stages then. Grim Pursuit, I could clear everything. Okay, even Rango Katsu at the end here, but I could not do anything on Inferno. I mean, that doesn't unlock till 55 anyway, but yeah, I really struggled here. The closest I got to was Sharon, and what I was doing is I was using Marvel to slow her down, Kloss, because her passive debuff slows as well, and then trying to cycle speed with Lily, but I couldn't quite do it. As soon as Sharon got a turn and she placed speed up on herself, I was toast. But I could farm everything. I wasn't worried about getting 3 stars here. I was just happy farming what I needed, basically. So yeah, did pretty well there. Threshold, same once again. I can farm Hell 4, but I can't do Inferno. Same with Doki Doki. I can come really close. I can come down to 1 mob, but I can't quite do it. Aurora, I struggled with. I can clear Hell 3, but it has to be manual, so it's not ideal. This is where dot teams absolutely shine on this boss here, but you will need to bring a Dispel first. So that's something else that I would like to see changed, or what I didn't like, is in Raid, for example, when you set up your AI squad, you can choose what skill they use first. So in here, I would use Obel to open up with his skill 2, to remove the immunity, so then I could push poisons on there. But you can't do that on this game. It's just auto, and they tend to just use their skill 3s first, which is, you know, not ideal. So it kind of forces you to bring in a Heinrich or I think Kazami Kazuyo, but she'll use her increased speed, so she won't dispel first. Yeah, so it's a little bit clunky for me to farm this on auto. Obviously, people are doing it with their poison teams. You can see dot team. Victor is an MVP for this sort of... Just in general, he's slept on so hard by so many people, including myself. But yeah, teams are doing it, but you could make it easier if we could say what skill to open up with. Outside of that, investigation cleared, DP outposts, I can clear them all. Anything echoes... Got stuck on the Rahu, but I didn't really push too much either, because after this there wasn't too much that I desperately wanted. I wasn't worried about Shadow Prince or Apex summons, which is what we kind of get. The Perfect Lattices would be nice, but I was really just making sure I tried to secure that PvP spot. Phantom Theatre today sucked. Like, absolutely tanked on Nightmare here, but it is Nightmare, so I'm not surprised. Hard, I could get triple S. Not normal, I could get triple S as well. Ember Trek, as I say, it got stuck on this Memory Abyss floor. Only 2 people have done it, and they were not fast clears. So credit to them. Ethernet Rally, I cleared the first tower, moved into the second version of the tower here, but I could not clear Aparte with my odd team. Just couldn't do it, can't survive it. But anything else that I could bring Marvel in, it was easy peasy. Between Marvel and Kloss, they just slowed everything down. So yeah, just the one team there stopping me from getting the second clear, and then just mini games after that. But it's been a lot of fun. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm impressed as well with how far you can push in 10 days getting to level 53. Will I go as hard? Probably, because I'm now a no-life weeb. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it here. The exchange shops, I think, are great. Very easy to buy this out with the currency. You can see I've still got 700 left at the end of the week. Again, same with summons. I was pulling a lot of summons, so I could max this out. Arena currency, towards the end, I was just buying training data and Etheria coin. Again, because they're in short supply. Same with the Summit Arena. I wasn't bothered about lattices. I just wanted the data. Now, I love that you can buy as much as you like, but these currencies are limited to 2,000 a week. So, you know, you just very quickly hit a cap once you buy 10 of these. Animus shop, didn't really use too much, to be fair, because these are all 5k. I did buy this one in the end. But you can get your epics here as well, which is nice. And then your module shops actually became quite clutch in the end. Now, you obviously cannot guarantee the substats or anything like that, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But, you know, I was struggling to clear Aurora, and I really wanted some ball pieces, so I ended up just buying them in here. When you clear some of the hell stages, you get 200, so I was just buying what I could to get this immunity, so I could sort of pivot into that bruiser comp if I wanted to. I ended up not needing it and just relying on speed. But yeah, that is sort of an overview of the account after pushing for 10 days straight and pushing hard as well. The achievement rewards are great. I love those. They say so much good about this game, but the resources just seem a bit out of whack, and I'd hope they'd be a bit more generous with the runs in the future, or reduce the cost of leveling up the gear and the shells. That would be the other way. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. It's been a bit of a long one. Sorry about that. But yeah, that is my 10-day Etheria account review. Yeah, what am I going to do on launch? Say, I'm not going to level beyond 10 or things like that. I was actually late to the Marvel train. If I pull him, he'll be one of the first characters I level, and I suggest you do the same. He makes your life so much easier in a lot of areas. What else would I do? The reset that you get, the 7-day event. I was a bit hasty early on with resetting certain heroes. I would probably save that. And outside of that, I'm pretty happy with how I performed. So the direct summon might be the only other thing that I change, but I'll let you know when I make a video come launch day. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Take care, look after yourselves, work hard. As always, play harder, and I'll see you in another one soon. Cheers.